In England, an artist named Mark wakes up early in the morning when he hears his neighbor Enid calling out his name through the wall. She says that something is going on out there. Mark ignores her and leaves the bed only to discover that the power is out. When he tries to open the window, it appears to be stuck. He looks out and notices a man in another building desperately pounding on his window, but he thinks it's just a wacko. Then Mark tries to make some tea and discovers that the water isn't working either. He checks the fridge for an alternate drink, but since the power went out, the milk has gone bad. Mark decides not to have breakfast and searches for clean clothes while hearing Enid ranting through the wall. His alarm didn't ring either because of the lack of power. So Mark realizes he's late. When he's about to leave, he gets a call from his ex-wife, who is tired of him being an irresponsible father. They argue for a while and Mark promises to be there soon, but when he tries to open the door, he finds it completely stuck. A closer look reveals a strange substance sealing the door. Suddenly, the phone makes a screeching sound and the call ends. Mark tries the landline, but it isn't working either. He then looks out the window and notices that many neighbors can't open theirs, which makes him realize that everyone in town has been sealed inside their apartments. On the streets, men in hazmat suits are patrolling the area. Mark tries to ask Enid about it, but he hears something breaking in her place, and she doesn't speak anymore. Getting worried, Mark grabs some tools and tries to unseal the door. He's suddenly startled by a voice on the intercom, which causes him to badly hurt his hand with a hammer.
The voice tells him to stay calm and that the situation is under control.
While Mark bandages his injury, he's shocked to see his wall shaking. A hole opens up and Sergei appears with his brother, Niku. Sergei immediately checks the windows and is disappointed to see they're sealed here too. Mark uses the hole to go to Sergei's apartment and confirms his door has also been sealed. At that moment, they're joined by Sally and Aiden, a neighboring couple who also came through the hole. Aiden says that the government must have put up a signal jammer to stop everyone from contradicting the official story. Losing his patience, Aiden goes from apartment to apartment to see if he can find signal. The voice in the intercom reminds them to remain calm. Mark tries talking to it, but the intercom just repeats the same message. Sally notices that Mark's hand is bleeding, and since she's a nurse, she volunteers to take care of the wound. Afterward, Sergei starts breaking down the wall to Enid's place. The intercom repeats the same message, and this time, it adds that a medical team is coming. When the hole is finally done, the group crosses to the other apartment and finds Enid on the floor. Luckily, they manage to wake her up quickly, and she's fine. Moments later, they look out the window and see the men in hazmat suits setting up medical tents. Then the men enter a building by decontaminating the entrance and bring out some sick, ill-looking people who are taken to the tents. In some of the windows, they see neighbors coughing. Sergei thinks it's terrorists and Aiden mocks him, causing him to get aggressive. When the intercom speaks again, it says that there's been a gas leak in the area. Aiden is trying to light her cigarette, so Mark immediately takes the lighter away. Aiden thinks the gas leak is a lie and Mark agrees. On the windowsill, a mosquito falls dead. As hours pass, more and more people are brought out of buildings and sent to the tents. One of the evacuated men tries to use the chance to run away, but he's immediately shot in the head. All the neighbors at the windows look away in horror while the man's family outside freaks out. Sometime later, they see the hazmat workers barging into other apartments to drag people out. Mark thinks they need to escape before they come for them too, and most of the group agrees. Although Aiden is scared of the sniper, Mark remembers he has some corrosive chemicals that he used for sculptures, so he mixes them in a bucket and throws them at the door. This effectively gets rid of the sealant, but also creates some annoying smoke. After everyone covers their faces, they try to open the door, but it's still stuck. They hear some noises on the lower floor and realize that the men are raiding their building. People outside are trying to escape and keep getting shot down, although one of the workers also gets stabbed in the process. The group decides to try the door again, and this time they finally manage to open it. They discuss how to proceed, only to realize that Niku is missing. While everyone starts searching the apartments, Niku is hidden in the vents and watching how a neighbor is arguing with the hazmat workers because they want to sedate her. Suddenly, the woman collapses and the men realize she's level 3, so they'll abandon her there and reseal the apartment. At that moment, Sergei finally finds Niku and throws down some sheets to pull him out. However, Niku can't grab them because the workers hear the noise and immediately take the boy away. Sergei and Mark rush downstairs and Sergei starts beating a man up with a bat. By the time Mark stops him, the guy is already dead. Then Sergei drags the other worker to the apartment for interrogation while Mark checks on Niku. In the apartment, Sally and Aiden are arguing because Sally called Aiden uncaring. He gets condescending, so Sally throws his phone on the ground. Sergei returns with the staff worker and knocks her down. The group goes through the worker's bag and finds tear gas grenades. Then Sergei pushes her against the window with a sign that says, "We've got one," which is seen by other neighbors and workers. While Sergei ties the woman up, her radio receives a message saying that the situation is out of control. Mark tries to talk to the man on the radio, but he refuses to speak to a civilian and asks for his co-worker. When Mark is about to give the radio to the woman, Sergei snatches it from him and demands an explanation. Suddenly, lots of yelling can be heard on the radio and the communication ends. Mark talks gently to the woman and she introduces herself as Hazel. She swears that her people are here to help and have only brought weapons for self-defense, since many locals are untaking the situation well. When Mark tries to remove the hazmat suit, she freaks out and pushes his hands away. He concludes she's protecting herself from them. Hazel explains that a month ago, a strange sickness appeared in the area. They tried to isolate it, but it spread very quickly. It's all being kept secret to avoid widespread panic, which would only make things worse. The virus starts in the throat by making it difficult to breathe or speak. The next stage is loss of sight, and lastly, the vital organs shut down one by one. Scientists have been looking for a cure to no avail. Suddenly, a frustrated Sergei cuts the hazmat suit, and Hazel immediately takes out an injection that Sergei steals from her. Hazel admits there's a vaccine, but it's still a prototype, so she isn't sure if it'll work.
The best thing they can do for now is stay inside.
In the evening, the group is still discussing what to do with the vaccine. They consider sharing it, but the dosage is too low. While everyone is chatting, Hazel manages to free her hands and tries to run away, but Sergei quickly catches her and throws her to the ground. The others immediately pull him back to stop him from getting violent. And in the struggle, Sergei accidentally slaps Niku, making him cry. Hours continue to pass, and Aiden keeps trying the radio to no avail. He wants to get tested, so Hazel reveals that her dead colleague had a testing kit. The group is surprised to see no hazmat staff outside when suddenly an angry mob comes out of a building. They look up at their window and the group realizes the mob is coming for Hazel. The intercom starts, ringing, and Mark answers it to hear a man explain that his wife is sick and his daughter was taken. So, he wants to talk to the prisoner to ask where the vaccines are. Mark tells him that Hazel knows nothing, but the man doesn't believe him. So Mark says he should ask the other staff members. The guy confesses they did capture one, but he got killed. So Hazel is the only worker left. The crowd wants to get inside this building, but the group says no because they don't want to get infected, and Sergei breaks the intercom. Then, loud noises can be heard outside, indicating that the angry mob is breaking in. Sergei grabs Hazel and starts dragging her, intending to throw her to the crowd. However, Hazel says that if he does that, she'd tell the crowd that they're hiding a vaccine. Hearing the mob getting closer, Sergei, Mark, and Sally drag one of Mark's heavy sculptures to the corridor to block the door. Meanwhile, Hazel manipulates Aiden by telling him she knows where to find a checkpoint with more vaccines, convincing him to leave with her. However, Enid and Niku return to the room, so for now they'll have to wait. In the corridor, the crowd reaches the door and stands pounding on it. Sally tries to make them see reason, but a man breaks the window and a shard of glass slashes her neck. Sergei throws a tear gas grenade through the hole, so the mob panics and leaves. Mark and Sergei bring Sally back to the apartment and the group frees Hazel so she can help her. Hazel tries everything she can, but unfortunately Sally has already lost too much blood and she dies. Aiden has a breakdown and runs to another room. After wrapping Sally's body in sheets, the group realizes that Aiden is missing. It turns out he's taken Hazel's hazmat suit and repaired it with tape to leave the apartment. In the privacy of the corridor, he uses the vaccine on himself. Then he pushes the sculpture off and goes outside. But now the angry crowd thinks he is a staff member and quickly surrounds him to start beating him up. Suddenly, the sniper shoots a few times in the air and the crowd runs away. After some hesitation, the sniper shoots Aiden down. More hours pass and the group is losing their minds. Mark destroys all the pictures of his family and Sergei won't stop drinking. When they hear some noise outside, Sergei opens the door just enough to peek and notices that the crowd is coming. Mark pushes Niku and Enid into the other apartment and then tries to free Hazel. However, Sergey doesn't want her to come with them, so he knocks Sergey out with his bat before leaving. When Mark wakes up, he's alone in the apartment. He looks out the window and discovers that more workers in hazmat suits have arrived and are connecting their truck to a building to release poisonous gas. In the neighboring apartment, the others put on masks and try to leave. But Sergey is suddenly tackled by a furious Mark. Enid has to convince him not to kill him. At that moment, the gas starts coming through the vents, so Mark says they have to go up to get clean air. On their way to the stairs, they see Hazel's dead body with the sign on her lap. A neighbor startles Sergey from behind, and Sergey immediately beats him up. The other residents surround him, and Sergey begs for help. But Mark knows he can't fight them all and leaves with Niku and Enid. As the crowd drags Sergey away, Mark locks the door using a metal rod. The trio discovers that the door to the roof is also locked, so Mark starts hitting the lock with a tool until he breaks it. They take the last ladder and finally make it to the roof to breathe fresh air before the gas could reach them. No snipers react to their presence, so they guess they left to avoid the poison. The trio decides to sleep on the roof, cuddling each other for warmth. In the morning, Mark wakes up and is devastated to find Enid dead. Then he tells Niku to keep his eyes closed and carries him downstairs, seeing lots of bodies on his way down. Eventually, they make it to the tent outside, but there's nobody around. At that moment, they hear an announcement asking people to stay inside, and anyone found on the streets will be treated as an infection risk. Mark puts on a hazmat suit and leaves with Niku without suspicion. Suddenly, a neighbor surprises them from behind and captures Niku, threatening him with a glass shard. Niku hits the guy to free himself, so the man jumps on Mark to stab him instead. Mark manages to bring the guy down at the same time. Afterward, Niku helps Mark walk, but it's clear that he doesn't have much time left. Mark gives Niku his phone, telling him to keep walking until he finds a signal and to text his ex-wife for help. After Niku leaves, Mark stops trying to hold on and dies. Soon, two men in hazmat suits appear behind Niku and inject him with a sedative. Sometime later, Niku wakes up in a tent full of kids. The staff members assure him that everything will be fine, and Nikki wonders if he should send the text. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.